And good afternoon. We're going to go over the ins and outs of the custom certificate module that has been installed in the Bureau of Training Moodle website. Custom certificate seems to be the most easy to use plugin, which takes into account how we have our system set up. Here you have, we'll go to the dashboard to start with. This should be the default page everyone gets. Online user, all that stuff. Well, we're going to go to site administration to show you where the plugin resides. So we go to plugins, activity modules, and custom certificate. Once here, you're given a couple of choices. You have upload images and manage templates. Manage templates allows you to set up pre-made templates for your certificates that you can load and then alter as needed. Upload images is supposed to be an easier way for you to get images into custom certificate. However, so far I have not been able to get it to work correctly. This particular piece of software is in beta, but it is stable, so it's not hard to understand that some of these functions don't work quite the way they are intended. Also, I have found that managing templates is difficult to create. It is essentially much more difficult to create certificates as it does not display data that is drawn from the course, such as the username, grades, etc. So it's a lot harder to place that information, which you'll understand here in a minute when we get there. So here's what it is. We can, at some point in the future, I might do some kind of tutorial on managing the templates, but for right now, we're going to go to the site home and we're going to put a template into one of our courses. The templates that I have blanks for right now are Royal Manticoran Army, so we're going to put it into the King Roger I Military Academy. We're going to go to the enlisted school, and like everything else in Moodle, you're adding an activity or a resource. So we choose our activity, which is the custom certificate, we add it. Here you can pretty much name it whatever you want. RMA 001 certificate. This is just a placeholder for the moment because we're going to change that once we get back to the other view. You're going to restrict access because nobody should be able to get their stuff until they've met the proper requirements, which is a 70% or greater on any given test. All the rest of these don't really matter, except you want to make sure activity completion is set to don't indicate activity completion. Otherwise, it's just another it's a meaningless check mark that a student will have to take care of. So we'll save and return to the course. All right, so here's your certificate. We're going to move it and place it directly under the basic training exam that we're copying. And we're going to rename it after the test which it is for. At this point, if you select anything else, hit escape, or do anything but press enter here, you're going to lose the name and get really frustrated. There you go. It's changed. Now, right now, we click on our basic training certificate, and if we choose to get our custom certificate, you get yourself a nice blank item. Now, every time you do something like this, it's basically downloading a PDF of whatever that certificate is to your system. That's how it's going to work. All the information for your certificate resides on the server, and then it's constructed on the spot. So, we're here. That works so far. You want to come down here and edit your custom certificate. All right, here we are. Here's your name, width, height, etc. Keep in mind, with custom certificate, width is measured in millimeters. Currently, it's set to an A series, and what we need it to be is set to what our certificates are. Presently, Joe's made his certificates about 210 millimeters by 144. So we're going to hit save change so we don't lose it. You're going to see me hit save change a lot. But the next thing we have to do is add the background image. So we're going to add that element. All right, I've previously loaded one of these, so you have it as a selection. But if you don't presently have one, you can go ahead and drag and drop here whatever it is you want to use. Again, this is just another version of the same thing. So now, what you'll notice here is that it doesn't immediately appear on your drop-down. You have to save change and then go back in. You see the little widget to change the settings. And then go ahead and select whichever one of these you want. I'm selecting the V2 because it is the one that seems to be the right size. Now it's going to be the same size as our workspace. So save changes. Now there's two ways you can tell how the layout of your certificate is going. Number one, you hit rearrange elements and it will show you how your certificate looks so far. There are some limitations to rearrange elements, but this is a really good place to move things around so that you can tell what's going on. I'll show you how all that works in a minute because we do a lot of flipping back and forth to this. So the other way to see how things are going is to hit the Save Changes and Preview button, which does what we did just a minute ago. It downloads a copy of your RMA certificate, your current certificate, and shows you what the actual PDF will look like. Right now, it's just the graphic with a background. All right. So the very first thing we want to do is add the test that you're getting the certificate for. For Moodle, the grade item name represents the test. And as you can see, you can select whatever test it is that you're dealing with. Traditionally, the test name's slightly bigger and is a nice red. You don't have to worry about X and Y positioning here until the next step. Because what we're going to do with the test name is we're going to go into Rearrange Elements. And here is the item. Now you notice it's in the Times New Roman, and that is the limitation to this particular layout page. No matter what font you put it in, it's going to show up in Times New Roman and be somewhat the size it's supposed to be. Here, this is just for general placement, and what I'm going to have to do is hit save and close, and then come back into that and change where its location is, at least on the X, back to 105, which is the halfway point in our system. Remember, everything is in millimeters, so you are somewhat limited. Another important factor is the reference point location. This tells you where the reference point it's measuring to is on the text. Top left, top right, center. Essentially, imagine a bounding box around your text, and this describes where on that bounding box it's measuring to with the position X and Y locations. So going back here, and what I end up doing a lot of is I'll do save changes in preview. And there you are. That is the first element. You don't have to do save changes in preview every time, but it is very handy. Alright, so the next thing we're going to add is the grade. Alright, it's going to give you a bunch of stuff. This is the percentage grade that will be on the end of the total score line. Of course, you have to make sure everything's in a line. There's three choices here. You have your letter grade, percentage grade, and points grade. We're choosing percentage grade, which will give you that 100%, 100 point whatever percent. Letter grade, I'll show you later, but we've reprogrammed letter grade to show pass, honors, and high honors as necessary. It's going to be slightly smaller. Not going to worry about position on this one. However, this one's going to be in line, so we're going to put this in the top left. And we'll proceed to rearrange elements. As you can see, here's our grade. It's going to be right here, fairly close. We'll save and continue, and let's get another preview. Now here's what we end up with. As you can see, that line's off by a little bit, so we're going to have to attempt to make some changes. Another thing that Joe is likely going to have to do is get rid of this percent altogether. There's no way for me to get rid of the percent sign off the end of the grade at this point. I'll preview it again. And that's much closer. Again, Joe can get rid of that percentage sign. When we finally get that far. So the next thing we need is the student name. I'm going to make the student name about a 14 font. We're going to leave everything in compact until I can get something different. And we'll go ahead and save changes. Go here to rearrange elements. And of course, my name is, of course, Student System Administrator, because, well, that's what I'm stuck with. We're going to save and close that. It looks close. All right. We're going to re-verify. As you can see, position X is at 106. It needs to be at 105 to actually be centered. The reference point is at center. And maybe another thing, a smidge bigger on our font. We'll save changes in preview. System Administrator can probably move up a notch, but it's good enough for the purposes of showing you how this works. Now we're going to put in the grade that goes here in this area and the promotion information. One good thing is that on top of that, you can take your teacher listing and go ahead and print just the way it's doing here with these fonts. You can get signature fonts and print in really nice signature your academy names, like your instructor names and your commanding officer name. So the next thing, we're going back to grade again. We're doing our basic training exam still. I'm going to rename this to honors. Change this to letter grade. Now remember, in the Moodle system, we've reprogrammed letter grade to show the honors. Leaving them at 12. Don't care about the positioning just yet. Rearrange elements. And we'll move our high honors more or less there. And while I'm here, I'm going to adjust System Administrator up just a tad. Now we'll verify that honors is in the center. And let's verify that the student name is still in the center since I moved it. It is. And just to save us some time, we're going to put in a text block. And our first grade that we are qualified for with this is private first class. And maybe go up to a 13. We'll save changes. Go here to arrange elements. And we'll throw private first class right about there. Come back. Change a few things here to verify, make sure it's centered, just like we've done with the others. And let's go ahead and preview it one more time. Excellent. Now, what I'm going to do next is show you how to get issuing instructor and commanding officer in there, and we'll put in the date all of this happened. First we'll have the date. Probably not going to be Times New Roman, but we are going to put it in a much smaller font. And maybe put that under there. What we used to do before is, and you can still do it with this one, is you can take graphics and throw it behind this. Matter of fact, I might just do that just to show you the ease with which you can set that up. Check to make sure the date's centered. It is. Now, the next thing we're going to add, or I'm going to show you how to add, is student and teacher names. Correct that. Cancel. We already have the student name. What we need is the teacher name. Now, we just got rid of everybody on the database that had teaching in the teacher assigned to their profile. If we hadn't, all the teachers assigned to this particular course, this academy, would be in this drop-down, and you could assign them to this spot. Everything else works exactly the same in exactly the same process that we've done so far. What I'm going to do is cancel out of this, because what I want to show you, utilizing the text field, is how we can make this happen, how this can look, how I get the signatures. So we're going to put Edgar Rice Burroughs on here, and currently Jayadira Laley is the only font we have that is an actual signature type font. We're going to make it slightly bigger because it is handwritten, and we're going to go ahead and save change so that we can place it with our rearrange elements. So good old Edgar Rice Burroughs looks like it can be centered right over issuing instructor. I want to be taught by Edgar Rice Burroughs, so this should work well. So we'll save and close. And let's look at the preview. And there we have it. You can do that same thing with the commanding officer. And this probably needs to be lowered a little bit so that it can be closer to issuing instructor. But as you can see, it's really easy provided you install the fonts to make this work. Alright, now I told you that I was going to show you how to put layer some graphics. And on the old RMA exams, we always put the rank, an actual picture of the rank behind the words describing the rank. So we're going to put another image on top of this. Now all we have in here is our current exams. But let's see, and the rank images also appear on many of our other older documents. Let's go to pictures. We'll find our RMN file. No, we don't have it there. Ranks. Perfect. All right, these are all of our old ranks from which we derived ranks 2, which is all of them taken apart. Now our E1, E2, this is the rank that we want. It's a relatively small, so not our preferred way to go it, but it'll work for what we're doing here as a demo. Remember, you have to get out and then come back in order for this darn thing to be even close to what it's supposed to be, for this drop down to show your graphic. And it's a PNG, so what it'll do is you'll be able to see right through it. Let's see, I think let's make it 10. We'll make it 10 millimeters on a side. We won't worry about where it's located because we're going to place it with rearrange elements. And there she is. Not quite as big as I want it, but we can fix that here in a minute. I'd say it needs to be about twice that big. Now, with your image file, it's going to stretch this, your width and height. It's going to stretch this image file. So if it isn't really high definition, you're going to have to be very careful. Again, these are in millimeters. All right, we're going to rearrange elements one more time. And go ahead and place that centrally. You notice it's over the private first class right now. That's okay, because the way this works, we just move it up. And now seems to be some issue here. Let's try moving that one down instead. And let's do a save change in preview. And it's still projecting it over that. I wonder what I did before to make that work. Back to rearranging elements. No. I think we'll just cancel this. I made it work once before. However, it doesn't seem to be working now. In fact, you'll notice it's flashing me some kind of error. Let's save changes in preview now. Okay. Let's do this the old-fashioned way. We'll get rid of text altogether. And add it again. And then we want to put private first class in our nice compact. Maybe a little bit larger. And we'll just save the change. We'll rearrange elements to get it kind of where we want it to go. Ah, look at that. Oh, no wonder. We're still... Got it. I was trying to get it to go behind the wrong thing. Let's save changes in preview to see if I've... Alright, so I accidentally erased Edgar Rice Burroughs off of here, but you see my point. Alright, that pretty much covers everything. Thank you very much. Have a good day.